Carter's Customs for the win. Front splitter install coming up. Hey, what is up? Ted Rankin coming to you again today with another Mustang project. And today what I'm going to be doing is the front splitter on the Mustang. This is going to be a splitter that I got from Carter's Customs. Very cool company. I'll give you a little story on that in a minute. Same material that the rear spoiler was made of that you saw in a couple videos ago. So it's the aluminum composite material, or ACM, and it goes by what, Alu Poly, I guess, is the company name that the stuff's produced under. And what it is it's two pieces of aluminum that sandwich a polycarbonate material, and hopefully that's going to be a little bit more resistant to anything that the road might throw at it. It's pretty straightforward. I've got it right here, and here we go. And this should be pretty easy to install, pretty straightforward to install. There's 10 bolts that go up through the bottom of the splitter, through a couple of spacers, or through a spacer, and then there's going to be a nut on the bottom. So a spacer, a bolt goes up through, so splitter will be here, bumper will be here, nut up on top. Pretty easy, 10 times on that. I actually was going to try to overcomplicate this. I had thought, you know, I've got my my intercooler on the front here, and you know, there's plumbing in there that I probably might want to get at, and I thought it would be much easier to be able to just bolt the splitter up and take it down if I had just put some Rivnuts into the bumper. But what happened was the plastic's too soft, and the shoulders on the Rivnuts aren't wide enough, so it just like pulls right through. And I'll show you what that is. If you don't know what a Rivnut is, I'll show you in just a second. This should bolt up in just a few minutes. I'm not going to make any mods. I don't think that anything has to be modified to put the splitter on. It should just be a bolt and go. So let's see. I'll show you the Rivnut thing that I was talking about. And then also what I was saying about Carter's Customs is the first splitter that they sent out to me arrived, and it was like a taco. So I don't know what UPS had done to this thing, but when I went back to Carter's about it, Adam Carter wrote me back and said, fine. He said, we'll replace it. Just trash the other one. So that's what I've done. The other ones, you know, you can't do much with it, but just replaced it. No questions, really. Really cool dude. That was awesome. So I think, without much further ado, let me pull you down off of the tripod here. I'll show you the Rivnut stuff, and then I'll kind of place this in and show you what's happening here. Should be a very quick video. Hold tight. Okay, so here's what a Rivnut is, if that'll focus. So it's threaded on the inside. So this would be the mounting side. Your bolt would go through here, and then it just becomes a nut. And the way this works is, man, that's harsh and the sunlight doesn't want to focus, is here's an example. I did a couple of these. So you can see you go through the material, and then you pull the thing down. Here's the tool. So that's the tool, and you put your Rivnut on there. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. I can't do it one-handed, but anyway, we kind of go like this. Your Rivnut goes on here, and this is the wrong size, but then you take the tool and you compress it. You compress both sides, and it draws that top part down. So here's what you end up with. Something that looks like this. Something looks like that. And it's a cool idea. I got them all over the place on some other stuff I do. But here's the problem that I had. You can see it's pulling through the material. And I thought I'd try to throw a washer on there. Maybe the grip range wasn't wide enough on this thing. You know, maybe the grip range needed to be extended. Anyway, this material is pretty soft. It just didn't want to work. So I thought it was a great idea, and it really would be a great idea. You wouldn't have to have the nut going through the top of the piece, you know, doing this assembly, right? Where the splitter's down here. Is that focusing or not? Jeez. And then you got to do this thing, and then, you know, this thing up on top, and you know, it's a lot of moving parts. It would just be nice if I could take the splitter, you know, hold it up, and then just a bolt to go. And then what I did here is I've kind of got this mocked up. Let's see if I can slide this into place with one hand. Ooh, that is hot, man. It is a heck of a solar collector. Woo! Ay-yi-yi! I gotta set this down. All right, hold up. Let me come back to that. That was burning the hell out of my arm. Hold tight, one sec. Okay, so back from the burn ward here. Oh my gosh. So let's see. I'm using my transmission jack with a towel over it so I don't scratch this thing all up, and just kind of pushing this up into place. And I thought I might have a problem on the Cobra bumper. There's these little grooves. I guess the bumper guard goes up underneath there, and I've never had one on here. This is an aftermarket bumper. This is not a Cobra. This is a GT with a Cobra bumper on it. And but no, I've pushed this back up into place, and it looks like it just goes right up. Oop, lost a little. That's okay. And it looks like it's going to be pretty. I think it just goes like that. And we'll bring this over to the correct side here, like that. That makes more sense. There you go. That kind of lines up like that, kind of like that. We'll get those holes lined up. Like that. And like this. So, okay. Kind of like that. That looks pretty good, actually. And this will all come into position. But anyway, I guess my point is you don't have to modify anything it doesn't look like. So let me work on getting the bolts and spacers all kind of sorted out here. I'll work my way around from the edges to the center, obviously, because I've got my center covered up with the jack, and we'll see how it goes. Hold tight. So far so good. Simple. Okay, well, we got a little bit of an issue. So let me see if I can show you. I'll get down under here. So what you'll see is mounting hole. Let's see, mounting hole. You get the idea, mounting holes. The problem is that most of these don't have a corresponding hole on the bumper. I thought I would start with these in the back. There's a hole here, hole up here, and a hole here. Problem is those don't line up. So I went back around and I found this one and that one over there. I think those are the correct registration. It looks like the bumper mounts up right with those. But all the rest of these, I'm going to have to drill a hole, specifically a fresh new hole for each one of these. not a big deal. I was trying to do this real quick on my lunch break, but it's going to take a little bit more time to kind of get each one sorted the way I want it, and then zip in the bolts and stuff. And one of the things you can see is that, you know, here's this hole here, and then so you're going to have to try to get your hand all the way back up in there. Let's see, can I even get my camera up in there? No, maybe, I don't know. No, but you get the idea. All the way. Where are we? Come on, baby. All the way. Can I get it? No, all the way back up in here is where you're going to have to try to get that nut and that little standoff and everything. That's why I thought the Rivnuts would have been a great idea. But listen, you know, there's a lot of wiggle room on this bumper. I'll show you on this side. So for example, here we go. You see this? Let's see, maybe I can get a better shot this way. Here we go. See how far out that is? So this is gonna have to get, the bumper's gonna have to push in, then I'm gonna have to make my hole and drill. So it's gonna be a little fiddly to get it right, but I think that the front is okay. The line looks pretty good. You can kind of see it coming up. I've only got those 2 bolts and they're real loose. So a little bit more messing around to do. Not as straightforward as I thought. And again, I don't know if this is an issue with all Cobra bumpers or if it's just an issue with my aftermarket cheap Chinese junk. So do with that what you will. I'll come back later when I get back in here and drill these out and get it mounted and show you what's up. So I'm making some progress here. I've got, what I've done is I've put in just a couple of these screws up into the rear corners, the 2 I showed you before, and that will allow me to go ahead and zip up the holes I need to drill the rest of the way around. Let me tell you something, the struggle is real. The sun's kind of going down here, so I don't know how much I'm going to be able to show you. So this isn't so bad. This is that rear one, you know, lots of room. But then I go to that forward one. Can you see that all the way back in there underneath the fog light? That is like, if you like not being able to see what you're doing, if you like real fiddly stuff or you can't use any sight on it, you know, this job is for you, because there's that one, and then there's going to be these up here, which is underneath my heat exchanger. I might be able to go in from the front on that, but there's no room back here, dude. So that's what I'm trying to say. But the thing about the ones at the back here, so the way this bumper's made, these slope down, so when you go to tighten them up, it's going to want to slide the spoiler edge out. So I kind of had to do a trial run, and not that anybody will ever see it, but you know, it's just really kind of, it's just, you know, I thought this was just gonna go right in, and then that'll bolt right up. I mean, the lines are all good. I mean, you know, it'll look fine. It's just, I thought I was gonna come out on my lunch break and and just kind of get this thing going, but no such luck. So anyway, let's see. One of the other tricks I did is on the drill size, I am just going to the ID of the threads, which ended up being 7/32, and that way I can screw this into the bumper and it's not constantly trying to drop out. I didn't oversize the hole, I undersized the hole. That way you can screw this thing up in a little bit, and you know, it can hang there, and you can try to get the washer and the nut on there. So take it for what it's worth. So what I'm going to end up doing, I think, is in the future, I don't know that I would ever have to really have this out of the way to do anything with my heat exchanger anyway, but there are some water lines that are plumbed back up in here, obviously. That might be a challenge to get to. Maybe the trick is it's real easy to take the bumper off. Maybe I just zip the bumper off in the future, who knows. Anyway, that's it. Again, I'm kind of losing the light here, so maybe I'll pick you up tomorrow on the rest of this. The plan will be today to just take a quick minute. I've got as you saw before, this is secure, this is secure, and I've got the same thing going on the passenger side. This is the driver's side. I'm just going to go ahead and blast through and sink these holes from the splitter up through the bumper. So there's going to be 6 more holes to do, and I'll go around and do those. And then in order to be able to bolt this up, I'll have to loosen everything up, drop it down, and kind of bring everything up slowly, I guess. But I can't get those spacers in there if this is all, I can't get the spacers in if these are all tightened up. So let's see if I can get that. You can see a spacer in there, kind of, sort of. So that's the plan. Zip those things up and go to work. Okay, she's pretty much finished up. I've got one issue that I will show you momentarily. So it lines up pretty good. I mean, you know, good. Kind of, you know, a funny little, you can't quite get it. It's not a show car. Just keep telling yourself the little mismatches don't matter. You're just going to run into that because you can only get the thing so well mounted up, and kind of drilling blind. It just is what it is what I'm saying, I think. And the only problem that I ran into is with the second one in, with the second, so there's the very most rear, there's the second one in. The way that this is tapered, the way it comes down, again, this is aftermarket. I don't know if you're gonna have this problem with the real true Cobra bumper, but the problem is that the spacer, it's a different height, to where he's got this out from the extreme edge. By the time this tapers down, this has to be shorter, right? The spacer has to be shorter. Maybe I can kind of show you that a little bit over here. So this is installed without that one right there, installed without a spacer. And you can't, with everything buttoned up, you really can't get a good view of just how much difference there is. Even if I try to lift that up and get you under, you just can't see it. No. You gotta just trust me. The clearance changes, the height clearance changes from the edge here, the edge here, to the edge out here, right? Edge out here to out here, tapers down. So I'll work on that. I'm not going to bore you with those details, but suffice to say that that spacer, wherever I just laid it, here, that this spacer is going to have to be a different height. What that height is, I don't know yet. Half of that? Don't know. I'll work on it. But that's it. I think the takeaway from this is that I thought it was just going to be a bolt up and go. It's not. You have to drill new holes. That is, of course, on the aftermarket one. Couldn't tell you on the real Cobra bumper. Plan more time than you think it's going to take. But overall, it's okay. I mean, it does what it's supposed to do. If you have a Kenny bell, you're going to have more clearance issues. I've got cooling hoses coming off. This is the driver's side. There's my heat exchanger. So this is going to be kind of in the way. If I go to drop it down, it's not a massive problem. I can probably unbolt here and wrangle it back. Or maybe I just get creative and find a way to have this just a quick release bumper. What I ended up doing was running down to the hardware store and picking up some spacers. And in this case, I was able to find these 30 millimeters. I got an assortment. I got like an inch, 3/4 of an inch, 30 millimeters is the next one they had up. And it ended up that the 30 millimeters was just about perfect for this. So what you can kind of see is that there's a little bit of a lip, and what's happening is that the way this bumper's made, the inside lip of this slants down. Oops, jeez. Slants down on the inside. So as you tighten it, the splitter wants to slide up this skirt, and so it'll kind of poke out. So you can't really torque it down. It just is what it is. But what I was able to do was close up the gap back here and actually get a spacer in there. I couldn't even get anything in there before. So that worked. I don't know, these were 50 cents a piece or something. And you can modify yours to size if you want. I just needed to do something quick. I got another project right behind this. And so I just wanted it done. I just got to get it off the lift tonight. So just a little handy tip. I think that, you know, the takeaways from this obviously are from the video. One, the holes, you're going to have to drill them. Not a big deal. Kind of a hassle if you're doing it single-handedly. Would be easier with 2 people, you know. And the next thing was, of course, the spacers. The other thing is that it's kind of, you know, a tight space, at least for the Cobra bumper with a Kenny Bell heat exchanger on the front. It's just tight, and under the fog lights is tight. You're going to have that no matter what, I think. You know, not bad. I kind of thought it was just a you know, direct bolt in, but it's not with this, not with the aftermarket thing. Oh well, so it is what it is. So that's it. I think that's the end of the video. Yeah. So until next time, have a good time. Catch you later. Thanks.